Hey, everyone. Welcome to A-Star the Podcast. I'm Abby Rolling, and today we have with us Tristan Bennett.
Hello, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Good, how are you?
I'm great. I just want to comment again. This whole set and everything you have going on here is really cool. It's really an experience, and I'm excited for all your future guests who get to come and kind of partake in this because I think they'll really like it. So,
Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate it. That just makes me so happy because we put a lot of time into it.
oh, you can tell. Like, I mean, I see my name up on the wall there. Like that was unexpected, and the mood lighting, the seltzer. I mean, it's full service here. So, I mean, anyone just come on our podcast. Like, this is really cool. So,
Please do. We'd love to have you. And yeah, we just want to make everyone feel super special, especially Tristan today because he's such an awesome guest. Actually, maybe we should do a little backstory about how we know each other.
Yeah, of course.
So Tristan and I met through one of our friends, Kazik, on a short film we did called Investigative Pizza. And I remember meeting you at it wasn't the audition, it was the first read through.
Yes, I think it was the read through because that was when I was kind of brought on. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did the whole film thing. Didn't even get to really hang out as much through the film because there was just it was COVID filming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we had to kind of just split up and do our own separate parts. But then when we did the premiere, Tristan and I got to finally talk a little bit, and we found out that we live in the same apartment building.
I know. I remember you mentioned that. I was like, oh wait, that like I put it all together, and I was like, yeah, that's so random. Like, what the heck?
It is. It's really cool to me though because we're still able to like meet. We literally just have to walk over to each other, and then we're like having a podcast. So it can happen so easily and so smoothly with fun neighbors, and I really appreciate that. It's just cool because it shows that you can have creative people just living right down the road from you and you can make some magic. So I really appreciate you for being here.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
And hopefully even going forward, we can make even more connections because this is it's actually nice to finally sit down and talk.
I know. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, yeah, we messaged each other on like Instagram a few times. And like, I remember when you were first starting this, you had put on your story saying like, hey, what do you think it is that I'm doing? And I was like, that looks like a podcast setup. So I was like, oh, is it a podcast? And you're like,
and I don't understand how you were able to know that when the room was literally empty at that point.
I watch a lot of podcasts. So like I see the table, I see like a blank wall. Like for some reason it just, kicked in my mind. So yeah, it did. Yeah. So
cool.
And I guess I've been a podcaster before. So maybe that was like, I had a little bit on the inside, but
it's such a new upcoming cool thing to do, and not even cool. Like it's so awesome to me to just be able to have an open and honest conversation just flowing back and forth and our viewers can just sit in on our conversation, and it's really cool to me for them to feel like they're a part of it as well.
Right, exactly.
So that's super fun and fresh. And yeah, so Tristan and I know each other from that, and we're neighbors, so howdy neighbor.
Howdy.
So I guess jumping into a little bit of the value that we want to get into, I thought it would be cool if you could give a little background story of how you became a creative spirit. Like, was there a time where you remember just knowing that you were going to want to get your hands on either a camera or a musical instrument, or if you were a singer, or did you do any sort of bands or choir growing up? Just kind of want to know what got you into being a creative soul.
So I guess it was probably what got me into it was my parents' persistence, I guess. I remember I started piano at the age of 5, and it was like an interesting thing because I think my teacher was didn't usually take students that young, but my parents were like, well, we kind of want to do it. So I eventually I was able to take lessons there. So that was really aside from drawing and stuff, that was the first set creative thing that I did.
Nice.
And
at a pretty young age too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I didn't become some prodigy or anything like that. I was okay. I can read music and I can play, and I could probably still pick up here and then, but I kind of faded off of that. But that was the first thing that I really kind of enjoyed doing and knew that I was kind of at least, somewhat good at, because I remember the big thing was I never actually like looked at the music and read it. I just kind of would hear my piano teacher play it and then like figure it out by like just playing. So that was like a
Oh,
big
like
like
taught yourself by ear rather than reading
yeah,
actual
and
notes.
it was like I mean it was
That's so smart too, because with piano, there's the bass and treble clef. So you have to like double read two different things, like trying to read two different languages at once.
it really is yeah like
But if
and
you can
yeah.
just play by ear, then you just see what sounds good and just go from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
I really like that technique.
I would just figure out the rhythm and figure out the notes. And I mean, yeah, it was like cool that I could do that. But my teacher was kind of like, well, you should learn how to like, the technique and whatnot. So that was like the first thing. And then I remember after that, just like always feeling like I don't know how to describe it, just like an urge to create. It would like always be on a weekend and I'd be like, oh, like I feel like I want to do something, like I want to like make a song or at that time probably not much else than that because I wasn't as experienced in other creative ventures. But eventually as I grew up, it was always like, oh, I want to do this, I want to build something on like a computer game. But like it was always like
Hmm.
making something was like the end result, whether it was music, whether it was creating something, whether it was eventually now filmmaking, photography, that sort of media stuff. So
Do you remember the first time you picked up a camera?
maybe not the first time, but like the first time I was like intentionally like filming stuff. Yeah, I remember it was and it never ended up actually going anywhere, but I was in like this like band. I mean I say quotes because like it was like we practiced like 3 times and the only song that we played was Smells Like Teen Spirit by
Oh
Nirvana.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That was like literally the only thing we did. So like, it was fun though. But we wanted to make like a vlog, I guess. But like they weren't called vlogs back then because this
Hmm.
was like when I was in 7th grade. So I mean that was like I don't know 10+ years ago now. So
That's so relatable because I totally remember originally just like my friends being like, yeah, I found this program on my computer called iMovie. And we were like, I was like,
yes.
oh, that sounds so cool. Like, what do you do with iMovie? And we were like, we just like take videos and then put it on here and you just rearrange them how you want. So we were thinking like, oh, we can make stories by doing this. And excuse me, we found the reverse feature, I want to say. And
Oh
we did a
yeah.
whole compilation of reverse videos. And that's just how it started. We wanted to do like lip syncing and stuff like that on the weekends because we didn't really have much to do, especially in the
Mhm.
winter, because you can't really
Oh
go
yeah.
outside besides sledding. And I just thought that was cool to just how it can branch from literally something as small as iMovie into something extravagant.
Right.
So after finding out that you wanted to do creative, you started bands and um, you did piano, but then you stopped, and then you played drums, and then you stopped.
Yes.
And was that around like high school, college?
So yeah, like I played drums in like a few small bands, and then I also like the major thing that I played drums for was the show choir band in high school. But yeah, that after that it mostly stopped. I mean, it's aside from like a few like church gigs or something like that. But
Hmm.
like I still would love to like be able to play drums, and I still can and able to play the drums. But it's more so of an accessibility thing at this point, living in an apartment and not having the space. But one day when I have my own place, or if I'm able to, I'll play again and hopefully pick that up. But yeah, that was right around college because yeah, I came here. I'm originally from Marion, which is about an hour away, right next to Cedar Rapids,
Oh, cool.
and came here to Cedar Falls to go to UNI, and couldn't bring my drum set with me, so I had to find some other ventures. And then around that time, I had a really good friend of mine from high school. His name's Dylan, and I had another friend named Nick, and they were
Shout out to Dylan and Nick.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll send them this. Hope they listen to. But they were getting really into movie making. And they had been throughout high school, and I had helped them on and off. But it was right when I got to school is like when they were kind of like legitimately getting into it, and they went to film school out in Portland at Portland State. So they were
Oh, wow.
all in on this. And I think it was either like the summer before college or like the summer after my freshman year, they came back and we made a movie. And the thing is, I was acting in the movie though, so like, I didn't have like a hand on the creative side of it, but I did learn a lot, and I was really kind of, moved by that, like the whole process, seeing them, take it so seriously and all these things and the end product. And I mean, I was really happy with it. I think it's like, it's at a point in their
Lovely.
careers where they like have made so many things now, like that's like at the back burner. But like, I will
Uh-huh.
always remember like that movie. And at the time I was still technically undecided as a major.
Okay.
And, so then one day I just happened to be, browsing the catalog of majors while I was sitting in my dorm room, and I saw that hey, there's actually a digital media production major at UNI. Like I wouldn't have thought. And so I, looked into it and eventually, pursued it, and, did all 4 years of that, or I guess like three and a half
Woo!
technically, but yeah.
And now I have a degree in digital
I
media
do. Yeah.
production.
Yes, exactly. It was, yeah,
Beautiful.
it was cool.
And where did you go from there?
From there, so so once I kind of knew that was what I wanted to do, I remember getting into the major, and actually, like, I mean, not that I didn't take school seriously, but like there was, I wasn't as interested in
I
a
know
lot of
how
other
that
things.
can be.
Right, exactly. I think a lot of people can probably
Yeah.
relate. Like
The traditional side where multiple choice tests, we don't want to do that. It's the hands-on, give me a camera, I want to make a movie.
right,
you know?
exactly. And I didn't gravitate towards the science or the maths or the history all that much. But when I got there, like, you slap a textbook in front of me, I actually was like reading it and like learning oh, like what is ATSC and NTSC, and like all these terms that I actually don't even really need to know now, but I was learning it, and I was, excelling, and I was proud of myself, I guess, because like that kind of told me, I'm like, okay, I want to take this seriously. Like I'm actually interested in learning.
That's awesome for like our viewers too, because it can show that sometimes the book reading is necessary, and maybe it's not to learn those small little terms, but also just to get into the process of learning, because there's hands-on learning, there's textbook learning, there's visual learning, listening to podcasts, all of that good stuff, and there's ways that we can bring our projects to life as well. So in college, were you able to do any projects? Because I know that our friend Kazik, when we did investigative pizza, it was actually his final project, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like the first project that I did is like always the one that like, for like lack of a better word, that I'm going to be like known for from that major, because they always play it in like the hallways on the TVs, and it was kind of like one of those like outlandish things that like people saw it and like, oh, like you're that guy who made that coffee movie, and to this date there's an old professor of mine who comes up and he's like, hey man, like every time I think of a cup of coffee I think of that movie that you made.
Oh wow.
But on that movie, so it was my first project in like the first like actual hands-on creative class that I took, and I think the prompt was you basically you couldn't make like a fictional piece of media, so you could kind of do like a documentary or like an abstract thing, but it just couldn't be something that you scripted and wrote and was like a traditional movie.
Okay.
And I think it had to have like some sort of message or something like that. So I don't even know what. At this point, I could not tell you what prompted it. Maybe I was just sitting in my dorm and made a cup of coffee or something, or I looked over at my coffee maker. But I basically, and talking about it now, it's definitely like a very like stereotypical like film school thing to do, to like put a lot of meaning into something. But like at the time, like this is like the first big thing that I did. So like I was really into it. And so I basically made all these different metaphors that had to do with cup of coffee or a cup of like drinking coffee. So there was and it kind of talked to like about like addiction a little bit, and because I mean caffeine addiction is like on the surface like
So
a really
real.
big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it like even there's like some a little bit more out there allegories. Like at one point someone rolled like a coffee cigarette and smoked it. And I remember a lot of people
I get it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so it was based around the cup of coffee, but there's just so much more depth to that.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that so much because, a lot of people could just do a compilation of this is what my coffee looked like on Monday, on Tuesday, on Thursday. Wait, I skipped Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it's more it's more than just a cup of coffee every day. Some people enjoy the coffee as, being their pick me up, or
Yeah.
yeah, or even just like a reward. Like, I actually did my morning routine this morning, or something along those lines. And wow, that's cool just to kind of reminisce on that,
Yeah.
because I know college is it's super important to me, trying to get through it, but also a lot of my viewers too, and just education in general. And as creators, we're constantly learning. Like, even though you're not in college anymore, like, there's still so much to learn every single
Oh yeah,
day, every
exactly.
single week, every single month, to grow as individuals and creators. So since then, what are some things that you've done to kind of keep going with your filmmaking, as well as like maybe what you do as a career?
So, some things that kind of keep me creative and learning now. A big one is, and it's more recently, is probably participating in the Des Moines 48-hour film project. So
Okay.
yeah, are you familiar with that at all?
Only from what I've seen on like your
Yeah.
profiles.
So for viewers at home, the 48-hour film project is, it's kind of in the name. It's, you make a film in 48 hours, and you get like a bunch of prompts. You get like a prop, and you get like a character name and a line of dialogue, and all these like
Ooh.
parameters that you have to include in the movie so that they know you actually did it within their set time
And it's
frame.
like a challenge too.
Exactly. It's a contest. Yeah. So I remember the first time I did that, I was still in school. And it was like me and four friends, and we just kind of, like, oh, it was like a fun thing, and we had fun with it, and we made a pretty bad movie, but it was fun. And then I remember, when years later now, I'm working at Pixel Labs, which is the business that I work for now, doing video production and marketing stuff. My boss, he brought up, he's like, hey, I've always wanted to do that. Like, I've always wanted to do a 48-hour film project. I don't know if he ever had, or maybe he had in the past, but he wanted to do it, and like do it with the means that we had as, a video production / marketing company.
Cool.
So he signed us up, and we did it. Our first year was last year. Went all out with it, had a whole team, used all our equipment, had some actors come in, and it was really like a huge process. It was probably at the time like the biggest thing that I'd been a part of. And while the results of that year, probably we kind of maybe expected a little bit more. We like didn't win anything, but it was fine. Like, but we kind of like, we're like, oh, we put all out, we put all this like effort into it, and it was kind of one of those things like, oh, we maybe had our hopes up a little bit, but that didn't deter us, because this next year we this year 2020, we were actually still able to do it. They still held it despite everything going on with COVID.
Awesome.
Thankfully, yeah. And did the same thing. Didn't let last year kind of get to us. We just put our heads down and made a movie, and we actually won the festival this year, which was really cool. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And again, it was like everyone has hopes for when they make a project, like, oh, it'd be nice if it won, but we didn't have any expectations, because we know, as after learning last year, that the talent and the skill level at this project was pretty up there. So just to have been honored with that was really cool. So
That's such a good lesson
Yeah.
too. And because it can be when you want to go in, you want to win, you want to do good, but sometimes life gets in the way. You're not quite there yet. And then if you really push yourself to do the thing that you want to accomplish, it can really happen. And it only happened in a year for Tristan. So that's amazing in my eyes. And wow, that's cool. And you did that all with Pixel Labs then?
Yeah. So we're not like a filmmaking company or anything like that. We do marketing for small businesses and branding and whatnot, but we all have an interest or a passion in making movies. Like, I make movies with friends outside of there all the time. I guess it's not what I do full time yet or anything, but it's something that we all kind of had interest in. So we
surround yourself with like-minded people.
Exactly.
Because I just can't imagine, like, obviously I have my boyfriend Clayton, and it's amazing to be with him every single day creating, but also having just a team of individuals that you can bounce ideas off of and actually go for the goal every day. And it's your job. Like, you get paid for that.
More or less,
Okay.
yeah. We weren't on the clock then, but you know,
Right.
it was as a team, we all kind of were like, hey, like, you know, let's do this. So
But like, yeah, even when you are on the clock, you
even then,
just
yeah.
like pass a note. Let's do this for the film, you know?
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, yeah, we talked about. I mean, there was times where we're at the office, and you know, definitely talking about that, planning it, and during the day and everything. And yeah, it's really cool and really great to be surrounded by people who all kind of just have like the shared interests like that,
yeah,
and wanting to tell us stories. And even from that, like I've made further on relationships. The lead actor who starred in our movie, I text him all the time now, and we're in the process of, you know, we're gonna make stuff. Basically, that's kind of what we said. And
yeah.
so yeah, even like yeah, it was great to be with the team and everything, but we also crafted those new creative relationships, which I was really appreciative of. So
Yeah. So surround yourself with people that you can co-create with,
exactly.
because it's so important to be able to stay involved in your project, because I know like even having online school, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that because it's this, and I have it's on my computer. I don't get to see anybody. I don't know any of my friends. But then like when we actually sit down to do the podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to talk to like the coolest person that I know. And like, Tristan, you're so cool, honestly. Like I
Thank you.
feel so honored for you to be on our podcast, because
I feel honored. I've never been asked to be on a podcast, so this is really cool. So
it's so energizing to just be able to talk about like creativity.
oh yeah,
It's a blessing.
like I could talk, like even just sitting here, like so much time has passed. It's like, oh wait, I'm sitting at a podcast, like talking. Like I lose track of like where I am because I'm just like
Yeah.
so into it and everything. But
Same
yeah.
here. And it's just fun to me, and I'm really excited that we were able to do this. I want to know if there's any other topics you'd like to touch on.
Yeah, so I could definitely talk for hours about my photography as well. Like not to
Oh
be
yeah,
like
I actually wanted to talk
yeah.
about your photography, because it's opens my eyes, because I followed you like a little bit after the movie,
Yeah.
the investigative piece, I guess, film, and like I didn't know like what kind of content you posted, and then all of a sudden, like I saw like this background of like Cedar Falls, and it had like this purpley sky and like a bright like moon, and I just thought it was so beautiful. And then another one was posted, and it was nothing like the last one. It still had Tristan vibes, but it was a different color. It was vibrant, and it was edgy, and oh, I just love your photography.
So I'm really glad you pointed that out, because like I definitely very intentionally don't like to take photos of like all the same things. Like I and to each their own. Like there's super talented Instagram people out there who, you know, go out and like all they post is like mountains, and all they post is like these things. But like, I don't know, like I feel like I would get bored of just that. So that's why I really like to, you know, kind of just anything. Like I'll take a picture of it and put my spin on it, and you know, post it. And wherever I am, I usually have a camera that I can kind of capture something with, and I like it to be, you know, it has my spin on it. You can tell that it has like my fingerprints on it, but it's not necessarily the same, I guess. Like that's kind
Oh
of what
yeah,
I go
I
for.
can tell that there's a lot of editing in there too, because a lot of the colors are not natural ones.
Very not natural. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. That's
And it's
right
not
on.
and it's not artificial either. It's just like I can tell there's thought put behind the action, and I think that's incredible, because truthfully, I don't like editing that much, and sometimes I'll just take an iPhone picture on portrait mode and post it. Just being honest, and I think it's cool to see your talent and skill shine through, especially in the like the editing portion of those pictures. Not to say that your picture taking isn't incredible, because
no,
it is
no,
too.
I see what you're saying.
Like
Yeah,
with
thank you.
do you have a drone?
I do. Yeah, that's
Okay.
another thing I've been getting into lately. Yeah.
Yeah, because those like city pictures of, I think it's memorable to me because it's Cedar Falls, and like moving here for college, UNI is the heart of this city.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful for me to see somebody that I look up to being able to capture the city the way that I love it too. It's incredible.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I like to capture what's around me and what's important to me. And, you know, Cedar Falls, parts of nature, the moon, like sunsets. Those are all things that I love. And so I'm glad that you see that and appreciate that. So thank you.
Of course. It's wonderful. I wouldn't have you as a guest if it wasn't. Um, yeah. I could keep talking and talking and talking.
Oh yeah. Go on and on about anything creative, really.
I think it would be cool to talk a little bit more about maybe projects that you have in mind that you're going to start working on or
yeah.
you've begun.
Yeah. So we were originally, me and the kind of like the 48-hour crew, we're called Retro Neon Film. That's kind of our film group. A couple of us were originally going to be planning on making a holiday movie that was originally set to come out this Christmas or like this holiday season. That kind of fell through, but we're still writing the script for that. And hopefully we're going to be able to produce it next year. But that one was like a completely different than anything that we've really ever done as a group. Like the last movie that we made for the 48-hour film project was like this really dark, gritty crime thriller, like murder mystery movie. And this one was going to be like a holiday comedy about Santa Claus. And like, so like, it was just like a friend of mine that's part of like the group kind of said, hey, like, it's the holiday season, let's make a holiday movie. And sure, that'd be cool. So we came up with the idea and started writing it. Not able to produce it before the holidays this year, unfortunately, but we're shooting for next year.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to it because I think it'll be really funny. But so that was one thing that we're kind of working on. And then outside of that, there's nothing specifically yet. Like I have a side project that like I kind of want to do where it's just like kind of like a visual set to a song that I'm really vibing with lately. It'll just like something I'll be posting on like social media or something just for fun. Like just because when I listen to music, I'm a very visual listener where I kind of, see these scenes play out that are set to this song. And I really like music and visuals combined. So I have something in mind that I'm going to be putting together for that. And then outside of that, I know Kazik's got a lot of projects in the pipeline. My friend Terrell's got a few projects too that he's kind of working on. So I'm looking forward to kind of being on set with other people, and making things. And, I will, definitely be creating stuff myself here then, but like, I really enjoy helping other people create a lot of things too. So I'm looking forward to just being on a set and kind of doing whatever someone tells me to do.
Co-creation is so necessary.
Exactly.
People will tell us over and over again, like, you can do it by yourself. Like, you don't need anybody else. And while like that's kind of true, but it's so much more fun and eye-opening, and there's more to bring to the table with other perspectives. And it's just so fun. Group projects, like, get such a bad rep in like high school and college because they can be kind of difficult to find where you're going to start, who's going to do the tasks. But when you're all so passionate about the same topic and you're just going for it and you're just trying new things, new types of experimenting almost. It's just like, it's just fun. It's just fun, guys.
Exactly. No,
just have fun with it and just have friends who support your passions and just find that group of people. And it's not easy to find the people. It takes a process.
I was going to say, like, I mean, going through the university and stuff like that. And it was definitely at hard times, it was hard at times to find, people to help with this project, like an actor like flaked out or, someone, well, it was busy or doing this or something like that. But eventually I got to the point where I had this really tight knit group of friends and just a weekend they're like, hey, let's make a movie. Let's just put the time in. And eventually it grew from there to where, other people like, they hear that you're like a reliable set person, like, hey, like I'm helping you with my movie. And then it spawns from there. And then they're helping you make your movie and then so on. And those creative relationships, they'll get there eventually. It does take time, like you said, but if you're persistent and if you're consistent, and if you show that you're willing to put in the time and the effort, those people will just kind of naturally just, be drawn to you and vice versa.
So beautiful. So yeah, I think that's a good note to end on because that was just gorgeous. And I hope that everybody looks for the upcoming projects from Tristan. And if you want to do a shameless plug for your social medias, websites, any type of just where people can find you.
Yeah, so you can, I'm probably most active on Instagram. You can follow me at Tristan T. Bennett. That's just my name. And then where you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retro Neon Film. We have a TikTok as well, also the same at there, Retro Neon Film. And yeah, I think that's probably where I'm going to be most active in the next couple months. So yeah, go check it out. So appreciate it.
And if you made it to the end of this, which I hope you did, go comment on Tristan's Instagram picture, hashtag whatever you want to choose.
Whatever I want to choose?
Yep, okay. Not hashtag whatever you want to choose. Tristan has to pick a hashtag.
Okay, pick a hashtag. Let's do hashtag swag.
Hashtag swag.
Love it.
You heard it here first, folks. Go comment hashtag swag on Tristan T. Bennett's Instagram last picture he posted.
I'm trying to think of what I posted last, but hopefully it's something interesting. Hopefully you like it. So
it's like the best picture ever.
Hopefully.
Okay, that honestly sounded sarcastic, but it probably is the best picture ever.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.